Welcome back to my channel. This is Random Facts.
If you gaze into an abyss long enough, the abyss will gaze back into you. But if you stare into a fox's eyes, the only thing you'll notice will be its vertical pupils. Look at the sheep's eyes, and horizontal pupils will stare back at you. And that's not the only paradox the world has for us. There's a tiny community in Minnesota, USA, that's run by several local business owners. Still, a symbolic mayor gets elected every year by having their name drawn out of a hat. Any resident willing to pay $1 can try their luck. That's why in 2012, the town had a 3-year-old mayor who was later elected for a second term.
That makes sense.
Toilet paper didn't become popular until the end of the 19th century. And even then, it was sold in packs of flat sheets that had the inventor's name on them and contained aloe extract. People weren't too enthusiastic about such a waste of brand new paper. But once
I wouldn't either.
started to sell toilet paper in rolls, it gained wide popularity. The longest a person ironed clothes in one go was 100 hours, and this result was added to the Guinness Book of Records in 2015. If you find ironing your shirts too tedious, ask Gareth Sanders from the UK what it feels like to iron almost 2,000 items of clothing non-stop.
It's a lot of
with
clothes.
No more than half-a-minute breaks in between. Wow, he's the real Iron Man. Your fridge doesn't have the same temperature in all its
I get it. The real iron.
The temperature difference can range from 33 degrees to 50 degrees, with the bottom shelves and the back being the coldest spots. But if your fridge has an ice-making compartment at the top, the upper shelves will be the chilliest.
Oh, because it's ice.
Claim that while yawning, you cool your brain. It fails to run at full capacity if the temperature outside is as hot as your body. You also yawn more when you're tired because sleep deprivation increases your brain temperature.
Just yawned. Subscribe and like the video if you just yawned.
Playing a song or two. Instead of grabbing a guitar, they go for a typewriter. In 2004, the Boston Typewriter Orchestra performed for the first time. The orchestra members produce unusual music with the help of old typewriters and have already released one album. Hey, do you play any unusual musical instruments? If so, write about it in the comments below.
This is weird.
Get ready for some shocking news. The Slinky, a popular toy that can walk down the stairs on its own, was invented by accident. Richard James, a naval engineer, was working on a spring that could stabilize equipment on boats during rough seas. The spring that appeared as a result of his experiments could move seemingly on its own. A bit later, it became the Slinky prototype. The letter Z has had some rough patches during its life. For example, around 300 BCE, it was removed from the alphabet and was missing for almost 2 centuries. The explanation was simple. We don't use this letter that much. Plus, people started to pronounce Z like R, which made the symbol kind of useless. So, if the Z didn't ever come back, the zebra would have been the rebra. Sounds like a country singer to me. If you want to find a more exciting alternative to a lawnmower, a company from California can help you. It rents out almost 100 goats. The animals are advertised as environmentally friendly and self-propelled. Rumor has it even Google hires the hoof helpers. Ever had that annoying situation
There you go.
when you have a word on the tip of your tongue but can't remember it? Yeah, it's right there. This phenomenon has its own name, lethologica.
Lethologica?
The most often forgotten words are those
Human I know well, but whose name I can't remember.
Out of more than 600,000 words the Oxford English Dictionary contains, an adult hardly uses 50,000. The horseshoe crab has eyes all over its body, 10 in fact, with some on top of the animal's shell, down its tail, and near the mouth. All these eyes help the crab get around, and he now has no excuse for getting lost. Typical for middle-sized animals that hunt by pouncing on their future meal, such as cats. The slits help them judge distances better and see both in the dark and in dazzling light. Big meat eaters that are active during the day and don't need to stay close to the ground, like tigers or wolves, have circular pupils. And grazing animals, for example sheep and goats, have horizontal slits, which provides a bigger field of view and help animals see the danger in time. Some animals like
yeah.
mind-blowing pupils. For example, a gecko's pupils look like small pinholes arranged in a vertical line. Dolphins have crescent-shaped pupils. Some frog species, like yellow-bellied toads, have pupils shaped like miniature hearts. And cuttlefishes have pupils that resemble the letter W when it's light, but become circular and large in darkness. There's a popular belief that cheese can give you nightmares, but it seems to be nothing but an old wives' tale. One study asked 200 volunteers to eat cheese before going to bed. The product turned out to actually prevent nightmares. About 72% of participants slept
So cheese doesn't
exceptionally
create
well,
nightmares; they
with
prevent them.
67% remembering their dreams.
Most of them.
Interestingly,
Depends
the
on
volunteers reported their dreams
you,
to
I
be a
guess.
bit odd if they ate blue cheese before falling asleep. Well, here you go.
Or it
Blind
depends on the
zebras
cheese.
do exist. In 2019, this rare animal was spotted in Africa's Serengeti National Park. The photographer, who was the first to see the unusual zebra, thought it was covered with dust. Later, it became obvious it was the animal's true color. Scientists believe the
Yeah,
blind
it's white
zebra
with black
looks
stripes. There
golden
you
because
go.
of partial albinism. Now, you might think that people with black belts are martial arts experts with years of rigorous training and experience.
Yeah,
But in
that's how
their
it
case,
usually
the
goes.
word they use for the same ranking is shodan, and is translated as the first step. Shrimps are covered with exoskeletons divided into two parts, the one that protects the shrimp's head and the one that contains its tail. The animal's heart is in the first section, almost right in the head. In 2012, biologists stumbled upon the Manhattan ant, a completely new species of ant that only lives in New York City, at the junction of Broadway and 63rd and also 76th Streets, to be precise. Researchers think that the ant comes from Europe, but they haven't been able to match the insect with any of the 13,000 known ant species. This creature might be totally new to the world. Now, most babies get
A lot
their
of creatures
first
we haven't
teeth when
explored
they're
yet.
turning 6 months old. But approximately 1 out of 2,000 infants gets born with a tooth or even several teeth. These teeth, also called natal, can be of 4 kinds. Just about to cut through the gum, slightly poking through the gum, loose with no roots, and fully developed but loose. Cats have 32 muscles in each ear. These muscles help kitties hear every little noise since they allow the ears to rotate independently and thus
Whoa.
detect sounds better. Gravity-defying geckos have millions of tiny branched hairs on their bulbous toes. This system lets geckos stick and unstick their feet at breakneck speed, scurrying across surfaces at 20 body lengths per second. Hey, just look at that gecko go! Toothpaste color codes have nothing to do with the product's ingredients. A widely spread myth claims that, let's say, a black-colored square at the bottom means toothpaste contains only chemical components, and a green mark equals an all-natural product. In reality, the color choice depends on the toothpaste tube design. The mark has to be as contrasting as possible. Otherwise, a light beam sensor won't manage to read it. Nile crocodiles usually die for about 2 minutes at a time. If they feel threatened, they can swim underwater for up to 30 minutes. And when they stay fully inactive, for example, while waiting for an animal to munch on, they can hold their breath for up to 2 hours. The high levels of lactic acid in their bodies
You'll
make this
never
incredible
win
feat
against a.
possible.
You'll never win
despite
a
the name jellyfish, also called sea jellies, aren't fish.
breath
They
holding
don't have
contest
heart
with a
or bones.
alligator
They're
underwater.
almost 97% water and only about 3% solid matter.
Whoa.
Scientists claim that the best time to take a nap during the day is from 1 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. That's when a dip in your body temperature makes you sleepy. Yeah. The hummingbird weighs less than a nickel and is the only bird that can fly backward. Its wings
True.
move up to 200 times a second. When the tiny thing drinks nectar, it moves its tongue in and out of the flower about 13 times per second. One bird usually consumes almost half its body weight in a day. And seahorses can move their eyes independently, which means they can look forward with their right eye and backward with their left.
Either way, they're
It's a
cross-eyed.
useful feature for animals that hunt by sight.
True.
Hey, if you learned something new today, then give the video a like and share it with a friend. And here
Hey,
are some other videos I
and
think you'll enjoy.
check out
Just click to the
this
left.
video.
Right. And remember, stay on the